Hello everyone, my name is Joey Rockwell. I'm 25 years old and I have a degree in marketing from Grand Valley State University. Today I'm going to be making a video about a very important topic, the United States election. I pledge to make this video as respectful and educational as possible. In this video, I'm going to go over why the Electoral College system exists. It's been a very popular trend on social media to talk about why the Electoral College shouldn't exist and how there should be a popular vote instead. The Electoral College is probably one of the major reasons why the United States happens to be the best country in the world. I know, that might sound absolutely insane, but let's go into the reasons why. The first reason, let's go into a little bit of history. The Electoral College was established during the Constitutional Convention of 1787. The Founding Fathers had a huge challenge on their hands. How were they going to balance the power between large and small population states and ensure fair representation for all people in the U.S.? But unfortunately, the people that made the Constitution didn't have everyone's best interest in mind. During the Constitutional Convention, the 3/5 compromise was reached. This compromise determined that 3/5 of all the enslaved population would be counted towards determining state representation and taxation. This gave many of the southern states that had slaves more power in the House of Representatives and consequently more influence into the Electoral College. This gave slave-holding states a greater influence in presidential elections. Slavery was officially abolished with the 13th Amendment in 1865. The end of slavery was driven by a variety of factors, including people protesting to be able to stop slavery, the economic realities of the industrializing North, and the Union's victory in the Civil War. And after the Civil War, the political landscape changed dramatically. The southern states, now without the advantage provided by counting enslaved people, had their representation in Congress and the Electoral College recalibrated to reflect their free population. After all this happened, this is how the Electoral College was adjusted post-Civil War after slavery. Going back in time, if there were a popular vote instead of the Electoral College during this time after the slaves were freed, they would still have no say in any of the laws passed or any of our government officials. In a direct popular vote system, candidates might only focus on heavily populated areas, neglecting smaller or rural states. Now let's switch this to modern day. Why does the Electoral College still exist? Is it outdated? No. A very popular thing going on online is the example of the Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump election. As you can see, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote and lost the electoral vote. As you can see, she received 65 million votes, approximately. Let's call it 66 million. I want you to take a look at the population of the top 5 states in the United States: California, Texas, Florida, New York, and Pennsylvania. In this instance, with a popular vote, all they would need is all the votes from everyone in California, New York, and half of Pennsylvania to automatically win the election. A lot of you have probably seen the movies The Hunger Games. In this movie, there are certain districts that house all of the rich people that have all of the power, and other districts are poor and have a terrible life. It's a little bit more complex than that, but theoretically that's what it is. Here is a map of all the Electoral College votes that each state gets. I want you to look at this closely. The United States in their elections has a total of 538 electoral votes. You are required to get the majority to win the President of the United States, which is at least 270 out of these 538 votes. If no candidate reaches that majority, the decision is made by the House of Representatives, with each state delegation having one vote. This process is known as the contingent election. Now before, when we were saying with a popular vote, all you would need is California, New York, and half of Pennsylvania to win the majority of the election, in this system, that is not the case. If a specific candidate was able to get all of the votes necessary in California, New York, and half of Pennsylvania, let's call it 10 instead of 9.5, they would get 92 electoral votes. This would put candidates 178 electoral votes away from winning the presidency. Do you see the difference? If our system was currently a popular vote system, almost every single year the opposing candidate that lost the election would request recounts, which would take way too long as there would be millions of votes to be able to recount. With how difficult it would be to recount more than 100 million votes, there would be controversies on if the recount was legitimate or if they did it correctly. A popular vote in the United States elections has happened more than 12 times, and every single time that this has been attempted, it has been by the Democratic Party. And contrary to the belief that if a third-party candidate ended up winning a popular vote, that they wouldn't end up winning because of the Electoral College, this is also false as well. Most states currently have a winner-take-all system in the Electoral College that awards all electors to the presidential candidate who wins the state's popular vote. However, Maine and Nebraska each have a variation of proportional representation. If JFK were to win specific states, his preferred electors would be the ones voting in the Electoral College for president. The closest a third-party candidate has ever been to winning the United States presidential election was in 1912. This election was Woodrow Wilson, William Howard Taft, and Theodore Roosevelt. Woodrow Wilson received 41.8% of the popular vote. Theodore Roosevelt received 27.4% of the popular vote, which was the third-party candidate, and William Taft got 23.2% of the vote, with the other 6% going to the Socialist Party. Woodrow Wilson got 435 electoral votes, Theodore Roosevelt, the third party, got 88 electoral votes, and William Howard Taft got 8 electoral votes. This specific year, the Republicans were very divided, and a lot of them voted for the third-party candidate. This resulted in Woodrow Wilson, 435 electoral votes, way higher than what's needed of the 270. This election cemented Theodore Roosevelt into history by being the most successful third-party candidate in the U.S. election ever. The Electoral College system is very important to the fabric of our democracy. As I said before, I am a marketing major, and if I was running for the U.S. presidency and there was a popular vote, I would only focus on these 5 states, and you would win almost every single time. All you would have to do is give these 5 states some sort of benefit to vote for you, and you would win. The whole point of the Electoral College system is that no specific state or no specific region in the United States has an advantage over everyone else in determining the results of the presidential election. Also, going back into the history books a little bit, in 1868, the 14th Amendment was passed. This gave citizenship to all people born or naturalized in the United States system, ensuring equal protection of the laws for everyone. Section 1 of this amendment states, all persons born or naturalized in the United States are subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. And then back in 1870, the 15th Amendment was passed. This gave African American men the right to vote by prohibiting the denial of the right to vote based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Don't hate on me for what I said right there. I was just reciting what was in the amendment. These amendments were crucial in the fight for civil rights that laid the foundation for further legal and social advancements in the United States. All in all, if the Electoral College system didn't exist and there was a popular vote, we wouldn't have had as much progress for equality for all people as we do today. Don't get me wrong, I still think there's a lot of work to be done on that front. I'm sure we will achieve that, since every single person, no matter if you're white, black, Hispanic, purple, gray, doesn't matter, all deserve the same rights as American citizens and deserve the same opportunities. I know this video is pretty long, I apologize, but this is why the Electoral College is very important to the fabric of our democracy, and the fact that it's a trend to say that there shouldn't be an Electoral College really disgusts me, because it's the reason we've had so much progress up until today, and why we will continue to have progress for the rest of time. Thank you.